Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how you can design this simple restaurant flyer in Coreldraw from scratch to finish, with steps which I will be explaining so you'll be able to follow along. Attached to this video is the resource file I used for this design, so you can do well to hit the download and just copy the link to download it so you can follow along in this video with me. So let's get started. Now, first things first, as you can see up here, I'm using the Coreldraw 2020 for this tutorial. So the first thing I'll be doing is I'll click on File and click on New. Then I'll make changes, so I can just give this, I'll just give it and restaurants, flyer. And primary color mode remains RGB 55 for the width and the height respectively, and resolution stays at 300. Having done that, I'll just click OK. So having done that, we'll be greeted with this workspace. So first things first, as we've done in the past, double click on this rectangle to create another rectangle inside of this. This is the area which we're working on. So having done that, the first thing I want to do is I want to lay our first color that I used. I'll make sure for this shape you remove the outline. So I'll just go over here to remove the outline, and I'll give it this color here, the deep navy blue. And what I will just do to modify this color somewhat more is click on this black I have here, hold down the Control key, and just continue clicking it till I arrive at this kind of color. I think this is nice enough, and I'm good with it like this. So first things first, I'll go over to using my text tool to type what I used to use in design. So so I'll just go ahead to type in what I will use. So I'll just type bush bar, and I'll give it the color white. So I'll just bring it somewhere here, and what I'll do is I'll change the font. The font I used for this one is Akira Expanded. So I'll just type in Akira Expanded, and of course I would like to make further changes to it. So first things first, I'll go to Objects. I'd like to break this text apart. So I'll go to Object, and I'll go to Break Artistic Text Apart, which is this one. The shortcut is Ctrl K. So what I'll do is I'll make this bigger for this effect I want to create, and I'll just have it like this. Alright, good. But I want to make sure this bush, as this here, is in front of this. So I'll right click, selecting the bush, I'll just right click and click on Order, and I'll put in front, and I'll select the bar. So as it is now, it's directly in front of this. So you might not notice it because they will have the same white color. But if I change the color here and give it this color, you can see now. Let me use something that's quite most obvious. So we could just leave it like this for now, and I'll just zoom out just so we see what we have. So I would go ahead to make this bigger, somewhat like this. I'll also increase it in size here like this. So the next thing we do is still type in our text. So the next thing we do is I'll continue with adding other details to this flyer. So what I'll do is I'll type in the remaining ones. So I'll just have a night. So I'll change this to the font I used here, which is this Galano Grotesque, and I will make this smaller. You can actually reduce like this. Please, when you are reducing your text, make sure you are doing it from the edges and not like this. That's bad. Or you come up here and adjust it. So I'll give it 30. Let's see where 30 takes us to. Still too big, we need it smaller. So I'll just reduce manually. That's the advantage you have while you're reducing manually. And I'll just bring this inside like this together. Okay, so having done this, I'll just change the color to white. just the way it is like this, and I would change this one color back to white. We'll be adding effect to it later on, but let's just leave it at a white like this. And I'll go over to adding other details to this flyer. Ctrl C and Ctrl V because I want to use the same font. So I'll just go over and type mainland, and delivery starts from. Okay, so I haven't done this. I don't want too much space because it's not a bullet point, so I don't want all this space in between. So I'll go over to my shape tool and actually reduce it like this, just like this, and I'm going to reduce the size a little bit. So I'll reduce it like this, somewhere around there. Looks nice. So I would draw it closer to this, and probably I'll just give it bold. I'll make this bold. I want to make it bold, so I've made it bold like this. And I'll make a duplicate copy of this. I'll make a duplicate copy of this by pressing Ctrl C and Ctrl V. I'll just drag the copy down like this, and I'll make this island. Okay, so the next thing I will be doing here is let me just, using my arrow key on my keyboard, I'll bring this closer a little bit. The next thing I'll be doing here is I'll go over to your rectangle tool and draw a shape like this. Now this is where I would have my time, and I'll just give it this color, or let's use this color. But what we will do now is I'll be mixing this color with this yellow we have here. So hold down the Control key and click on this yellow for like 5 to 6 times till you have something like this. Right guys, this is what I'll be using for this. And I'll make sure I remove my outline. Come here and right click to remove the outline. I'll go over to the freehand tool. I would click and hold and select my pen tool. This is the pen tool, guys. Select the pen tool, and what I would just do is I'll just draw. So I'll just click and click this point like this, and click on the last point, which is this one. And what I'll do is I'll just apply this color to it, this color. Remove the outline. You have this nice looking shape. So I'll go to my shape tool, and I'll just zoom closer. I'll just drag this up a little bit like this, and hold down the shift key and drag this also. So I have something like this. I might just want to drag this one too, like this point. So what I'll just do is I would like to change the hue of this rectangle here. So I hold down the Control key and click on this black to make it darker. Okay guys, this is what I need. Okay, as it is now, this is how I want it to be. So I'll just use this Ctrl C, Ctrl V because I want to use the same font. I'll drag this down, and of course I'll make it smaller like this, and the way it is, Ctrl A, and I'll just type 2 p.m. like this, and I'll put this here and make this a little bit bigger, somewhere like this. I'll just move this down a little bit like this. I haven't done this. I'll just select this one, this 2 p.m. I'll hold down the shift key, select this, and select the last one. So that means I'm selecting the 3 of them. Or better still, you can select everything you can select all of them at the same time like this. Just go into your picture and drawing your selection like this. Just make sure it's capturing only these ones. As you can see, I've selected all of them. Ctrl C and Ctrl V to copy and paste. I'll just bring this down here like this. And what I'll be doing to this one is I'll just be changing this 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. All right, guys. F4 to zoom out. Okay, we have that arranged in place. So the next thing I'll be introducing to this flyer is our first background. So I'll go over to where I have my source file and I'll click on it and click on this first one, I numbered one. I'll just drag and drop inside like this. Great. So what I'll just do is I'll just zoom out and make this a little bit smaller. Having done that, I will right click and click on power clip inside, and I will select this rectangle just like this. As you can see, guys, when I have that picture or that image inside. So what I'll just do is I'll just click inside, double click on the box, of course, as we've done in the past, and I'll just make this a little bit more visible by shifting it inside of the frame and positioning it well. Okay, good. Position it inside like this. Having done that, I'll just click on finish. Okay, guys, so this is like the first thing or the first step in this design. So the next thing I'll be doing now is I'll be introducing the image of the guinea fowl I used. So what I'll just do is I'll go back to my source file and select the guinea fowl. This is what I used. I'll just drag inside like this and drop. Good. So we want to blow out all these edges around it, and with attention on this aspect alone. So how do we do that? Very simple, guys. We'll be using our transparency tool. So select transparency tool and hold down the shift key. First and foremost, we'll be doing for this part, we'll just like this. Having done this part, bitmap, convert to bitmap, and make sure you set to RGB, check marked, and click OK. Good. So I'll do it to the other side of this image. So having applied that effect to the four sides, like as you can see now, I don't have any. So this can actually blend into this background now without any obstacle whatsoever. So what I'll just do is I'll just reduce the size by reducing from the edge. Always reduce your images from the edge, guys. I'll just bring it inside like this, and I'll just place somewhere here, not too far from the bush bar itself. And I'll just make it a little bit bigger. I'll hold down my shift key and make it a little bit bigger. So we don't want this on top, so it won't disrupt what we have going on top here. So we want to place it inside of this power clipped objects we have too. So I'll just select it, select the guinea fowl, Ctrl X to cut it, and double click on this rectangle, and I'll just paste it inside in place like this. What I'll just do, I'll just move this a little bit downwards like this, and probably a little bit to my right like this. When I'm done, I'll double click, holding down my control to exit the power clip. So what I want to do is to make this more realistic, I would want to apply a lighting effect on this region. So what I can do is I would select my pen tool, and selecting my pen tool, I would click on this place. I would click on this part. I'm still clicking. Click on this part. Make sure it doesn't exceed this place. Click on this part, and I'll click on this part too, and I would click on this part. Make sure you close it. When you get to a point where you see node, close it. So having used my pen tool to draw this part, I'll just give it a color. So the color I'll be using is the same color I used here. So what I'll just do is I'll go over to my eyedropper tool. This is my eyedropper tool. I'll select it and select this color. Selecting the color, you should have it somewhere like this with your pen bucket active with the color, and I'll just click on that pen to the shape I use my pen tool to draw. So as you can see now, I've applied the color to it. So what I can do is go back to the pick tool and still selecting this shape, I would remove the outline first. What I would like to do next is I would like to fade this part into this image itself. So how I can do that is very, very simple. So I'll just go over to this part and using my transparency tool, click on it. I'll just hold down shift and make sure I get rid of these edges, so my black will end, this black vanishing point will end here. So but it's not perfect, right? Because if you zoom close, you still have the lines here, but don't worry, we'll sort that out later on. So what I want to do is I don't like the fact that this color is too dark, so I want to apply a little bit of yellow to it. So I'll go to the yellow where I have my yellow color, hold down the control key and click on it till it comes alive, like a yellow like this. Okay, haven't done this, I'm okay with it. So what I can do to this shape now is to convert to bitmap. So I'll go to bitmap, convert to bitmap. That's because I want to adjust it furthermore. So 300 checked as usual. I'll just click OK. Now from this, now what I want to do is I want to apply a blur effect to this shape now. So I'll go to effects and I'll go to effects, blur and Gaussian blur. Okay, so as you can see guys, so I'll just increase the level of blur, and you can see it has gotten rid of this aspect of it that was straight, and it has applied a feather effect to it. So I'll just click OK like this. So what I'll do with this one is, because it's actually creating something different outside here that we don't really want, we want to place this inside. So I'll just cut it, Ctrl X, and double click on the background like this and paste it inside like this, Ctrl V to paste. So what I'll just do, I'll make this a little bit bigger, somewhat like this, and shift this inside like this up onto this point. And when I'm convinced with what I have currently, I'll just click on finish. Right, good. So guys, that's how you create that lighting effect on that region. So what I can easily do is I might want to also skew the image a little bit. So I'll just double click on it, and clicking on the image itself, what I'll just do is I'll just click on it again to bring this the skew and the rotate. So what I'll just do, I'll just rotate it like this, somewhat like this. I'll click on it and just hold down the shift and make it bigger like this. Okay guys, somewhere like this, and I'll click on finish. Okay, the essence of that is just to make sure I don't have too much going on around this area. This is where I need the attention to be at. Good. So I haven't done that. The next thing to do is I'll be bringing in the other image I used. So I'll go over to my resource file and I'll bring this PNG image of this image I used. So I'll just drag and I'll drop inside like this, but I'll not be using the whole aspect of this image. I want to use only this aspect because this is the only place I want to show inside of this design. So then of course I don't want this whole part to be visible. So what I'll just do is I'll go to effects, I'll go to blur, and I'll go to Gaussian blur. So I can just blur that out a little bit, not too much, somewhere around okay, great. I'll just reduce it a little bit till I get the result I want. I think somewhere around 15 should be good. So I'll just manually impute 15 and I'll press OK. Okay, so automatically we have a nice blur effect with this image we brought in. So I'll just Ctrl X to cut it because we need to put it inside of this rectangle. Double click on the rectangle itself and just Ctrl V to paste it. Guys, Ctrl V to paste it. So I haven't done that. I would zoom in and just check to see if things are in place well, and when I'm convinced what I have, I'll just click on this finish. Okay guys, we are almost towards the end of this design. So as it stands now, I would come back to my text, this one I created before. So what I want to do is I want to apply a drop shadow effect to this bush, so we have it casting on the bar. So what I'll do is I'll go over to my drop shadow, selecting it. I'll go under presets. I'll just click on this one that says small glow, like this, small glow. But I'll be making changes to this. If you can observe, if I zoom close now, my shadow isn't, the color isn't really black. This is the color of the shadow, this color I have here. But to modify it, I'll just come up here and so where you have shadow color, I'll check it and I'll click on this black color. As you can see, guys, it has changed. But I don't want my shadow to go from, because it's actually a linear shadow. I want it to come down like this. So what I can just do is hold down the shift key and drag and drop like this. As you can see, guys, we have a nice casted shadow that's coming from the top like this to the bottom like this. What I can do is, for me to make the shadow more visible, I'll come up here and increase this from 50. I will make it let's say 80. Okay, as it is now, it's fine, 80. And having done this, I'll just click out and function F4 on the keyboard to actually zoom closer to see what we are doing in real time. So having done this, we want to create, because we have a lighting effect here, right? So I want to make it more realistic by having the same light we have here casting on this this text we have, the bush and the bar. So what I'll just do is I'll press G on my keyboard and to activate my fountain fill. So what I can just do is, holding down the shift key, I'll just drag from this point, guys, drag from this point. The bar is selected now, as you can see. So I'll just drag and drop like this. Don't worry if you don't have anything going on, don't worry, you see the effect we want to create now. So on this point now, let me zoom close. So on this point here, not this one here, click on this white point. It will bring out this node color. Just click on this part here to bring out the color. Now what you can just do is select from this part here. I'll just draw close. I'll just use this slider here to select a yellowish color. So I'll just, when I drag the slider to this point, I'll just come over here and just select a color on this point. As you can see now, I've applied that color to it, but this is not how we want it. So having applied that to it, what I'll just do, I'll just click out and I'll zoom out to see what I'm doing clearly. I'll just drag this point like this to this part, somewhere like this, and move it a little bit more further like this. As you can see, guys, so it seems as though we have the effects from here reflecting on the shape. So what I can just easily do is, instead of repeating the whole process on this one, I will just right drag, guys, selecting the bar, right drag, and I'll just drag it on top of this text. Now you will see the cursor blinking and you see the A and you see this arrow on the A. I'll just release my hand on it, and from the option I'll click on copy fill here. As you can see, guys, I've copied the same fill I had here onto this bush. I'll do that again. Selecting the bar, right drag, don't drag, just right drag, and make sure you're on it. You know you're on it when you see this cursor blinking. You can see the cursor. I'm currently on the bush, and you will see this A and you see the arrow too. So what you can just do is, when you've gotten these three, release your hand, remove your hand from the right click, and you see these options. So from this option, just select copy fill here, just like what I've done now. So having done that, I'll click on G on the keyboard and I'll just drag my white parts close to this point, so I don't have too much of the effects on this part. But always make sure that this is set to white. So I'll just shift my white parts so I have this effect not too visible on this one. And having done that, I'll click out like this, and that's how you get the effects done. So the next thing I want to do is I want to apply I want to do the last thing I did on the flyer, which is so I would come over to my ellipse tool, I will drag and I will drop here like this. It has to be this small, so I'll change the color to white and I'll just remove the outline here and I'll make it smaller, somewhat like this, somewhat smaller like this. And having done this, I'll just duplicate this. Let me increase this a little bit. I would copy Ctrl C and Ctrl V to copy and paste, increasing the size like this. I'll just leave it at this point like this. So what I'll do next is I'll go over to my pen tool, select my pen tool, and what I'll just do is for this, instead of using my pen tool, let me use my B-spline tool. Okay guys, this is the B-spline tool. Now the B-spline tool is more like an advanced pen tool. You can actually use it to draw straight lines, curved lines, but more of curved lines most times. So what I can just do is I'll click on this point and I'll just click on this point, click on this point, and click on this point. When I click on the last point, I'll double click. So having done this, I have a curved nice line linking this part to this part. So what I can just do is increase the outline color, come up here to increase the outline color. So I'll change from this to 3 is too much, so I'll use a 1.5. What I can just do is, since it's an outline, I'll just come here and right click on this white to change the outline color to white. So I haven't done this. I'll click on F4 to actually see what I'm doing in real time. So guys, having done all of this, I would go over to this point and add my remaining details to this flyer. So what I can just do is I'll just, with my text tool selected, I'll just type you can type anywhere outside of this design page. Type outside, then you can, when you're done, you can bring it inside here like this. So I'll type contact us and the phone number is 773758299, and of course WhatsApp like this, since it's the same number. So I'll just copy this and I'll click here and just paste it here. Great. So I would, there's a place for IG, so I'll just type push flavor underscore. So then of course I'll just make this a little bit smaller for my details, and a little smaller. I'll bring it to the, because this is where I want it to be, right? So I'll just change the color to white, and then I'll use the right fonts, Galano Grotesque, and select the one that seems more appropriate. Okay, so having done that, I'll just come over to my shape tool and reduce the space in between like this. Okay, so having done this, I want this contact us to have a different font. So what I'll do is I'll first and foremost come over to objects and I'll break apart. Shortcut is Ctrl K, guys. So you now have all of this on their own, but I would like to make this a little bit bolder. So I'll use the heavy, right guys. So I'll just change this one to this font. You'd have it alongside your resource file. You have it alongside the resource file, so you can do well to download it for this particular flyer design. So I'll just, okay, haven't done this, I'll just move in place, and I'll make sure I move it a little bit to this part. And you can also go ahead and be creative with your lightning, and you can add a few lighting to this flyer itself, and just to create a more realistic. And because I used a logo for this, so I'll just go over. You can use your own logo. I'm not expecting you to use my logo, so I'll just go over and drop and just put my logo somewhere here, and voila. Make sure it's on the same line, measure it. You can draw your ruler, this is your ruler guide, and just put it here and make sure it's properly aligned. So with this, I'll just bring down like this, so it's on the same line with all you have here. I'll bring this down a bit too. And when I'm done with my ruler, I'll just click on it and I'll click delete. So I'll zoom out. Okay guys, this is how you can create a simple, realistic restaurant flyer inside of Coreldraw. I hope you've liked this video. If you like this video, just give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to share. And if you've not subscribed, if you want to see more of my videos, please kindly subscribe and turn on the post notification so you won't miss any video I'll be dropping any moment from now. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next video, which I'll be dropping shortly.